worker of the New Republic coming to a small town in Appalachia, talking to the forgotten white people who were left behind by a global economy, and how these people explain, the rise of Donald Trump. You have a problem with these stories. Explain why.
The piece that's often left out of them is what it feels like to be on the other end of those stories. And Appalachia has a long history of absorbing people in my book called strangers with cameras, people who come to the region maybe not to see just poverty, but a particular kind of poverty that they need and want to find. The last moment that we had that comes to mind when I think of parallels was the war on poverty. During the 1960s, this is the flurry of related legislation to remediate poverty. So we had a lot of reporters come to the region to take pictures of people who were experiencing poverty and extreme hardship because they needed to get the voting public to sympathize with poverty and the conditions that people experienced when they were in poverty. And that created an overabundance of images that really left an enduring impression on the national imagination of what people think of when they think of Appalachia. They think of shacks, they think of people barefoot, dirty, covered in coal dust, and that's left a big impression that we're still dealing with.
So how do you talk about the region then?
When I talk about Appalachia and I say that I think that there should be better coverage of Appalachia, I certainly don't mean that there should be more flattering coverage of Appalachia.
Right. There is still poverty, right? And the region is mostly white. And so how do you talk about that?
Yeah, so we just want more nuance, I think. We need to kind of diversify the narrative of the region and acknowledge that it can't be contained in the single election or a single person's life. And I think one of the things I see now when I read comments on news articles and kind of engage with people online is that they want stories about how people who are vulnerable are weathering this administration, like people of color, members of the LGBT community, new immigrants. My basic point is that Appalachia has those stories too.
Elizabeth Katz, an historian based in Virginia, her new book is called What You Are Getting Wrong About Appalachia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Endangered species can be bad for business. If you have a protected animal on your land, you are probably in for some red tape. To avoid that situation, a growing number of businesses are pitching in to help save animals. Molly Samuel of WABE looks at one of the largest such efforts in Georgia.
Gopher tortoises are big, dry, wrinkly reptiles. They live in the southern part of Georgia near the coast, including at 2 nuclear power plants owned by the biggest electric company in the state, Georgia Power.
Gopher tortoises do very well right next door. We're glad to have them.
Wildlife biologist Jim Osier works for Georgia Power. We're walking at Nuclear Plant Hatch, looking for gopher tortoise burrows among spiky palmetto plants and little wildflowers.
Yeah, they spend a lot of their time out foraging, but typically they do spend the night in the burrow.
So maybe he's not awake yet.
We might wake him up.
Osier is out here counting gopher tortoises because Georgia Power wants to save them. It's helping to restore their habitat. He's working with Savannah McGuire with the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. She's crouching next to a gopher tortoise hole.
So here's a big adult active burrow.
She says the burrows can be as deep as 40 feet. McGuire snakes a camera down into the hole.
Pretty much a camera on cord. So we're going to stick it down the burrow and see if he's home.
Gopher tortoises may be in trouble. One issue has been habitat loss. They also have a legacy problem. During the Great Depression, people ate them. They were nicknamed Hoover's chickens, and because the tortoises breed so slowly, they still haven't bounced back. McGuire keeps pushing the camera down the burrow, and eventually...
There he is. So we have a tortoise.
We can see the tortoise's patterned shell on an LCD screen.
That's an adult gopher tortoise.
How old is it?
I'd say easily 40 years old.
Oh, wow.
40 years old. Yeah.
Gopher tortoises are protected by Georgia environmental law, but the Federal Fish and Wildlife Service is considering listing them under the Endangered Species Act, which is stronger than the state law. Osier says Georgia Power and other businesses don't want that to happen.
Everybody wants to see the economy of Georgia thriving. If there's too many environmental regulations, there's a concern that economic growth will do a lot.
Don Im of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service says private foundations and even the Department of Defense are all working together to try and save the gopher tortoise.
I think if you can do something to avoid the conflict or even the list, that is a much better result.
Better for the people doing business here and better for the tortoises. For NPR News, I'm Molly Samuel in Baxley, Georgia.